Come, let us practice Tantric Chanting and meditate like a Jedi. We're going to play with many exercises, but those exercises, instead of getting overwhelmed, let's look for a pattern in the chaos. All these exercises fit in 3 categories. Either channels, winds, and drops, known as energy work, slice through, known as mindfulness and meditation, or leap over, known as passive contemplations. We're going to begin with channels, winds, and drops, which could also be thought of as bliss and letting go. As the tip of our left index finger supports the great knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap, let us practice the third enlightenment factor's energy work, also known as bliss and letting go, in such a manner that it feels as if the force itself is giving us a kiss upon the top of our head. Consider, if you will, this bronze. It represents us, the meditator. Consider this red painting of a Buddha. It could represent our teacher, or the amalgam of all our teachers, or simply the teachings themselves. The key to this energy work does not lie in superstitious beliefs or in exhausting visualizations. Instead, the most efficient way of practicing this is to simply chant the following 6 syllables: Lama, come to pay crown. 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 Let us slice through the tyranny of dualities, obscuring emotions of dread and desire. This is known in Tibetan as Trikcho, and we could think of it simply as awareness and letting go. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. You see, way back during the Paleolithic era of humanity, anthropologists and archaeologists have uncovered evidence that we were flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. But that all changed during the Neolithic Revolution with the introduction of proto-capitalism. When competition was the rule of the day, our culture, since then, for 10 millennia, has driven us to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. So what? Rigid meditation teachers are the ones who implore us to actively focus and actively analyze. The only way to do that, from the perspective of neuroscience, is to overwork our dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortex. When we overwork those bad boys, we inevitably present with symptoms of depression, no less trigger our amygdala, which functions as the seat of our anxiety and aggression. How darkly ironic is it that in pursuit of peace and love, we receive instructions that tear us away from peace and love like a perilous riptide at the beach? Unfortunately, neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. Consider our spinal cord, known as the autonomic nervous system. When we cooperate with its two facets, our amygdala is calmed and our anterior cingulate gyrus is stimulated. That's a good thing, for it functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy. How do we do that? How do we cooperate with both facets of our autonomic nervous system? Every time we inhale, we are already wired to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, whose fancy name is the sympathetic nervous system. It has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination, regardless of whether those things pertain to the external or the internal, the physical or the mental, the pleasurable or the painful, the interesting or the boring, the glorious or the grotesque. Superficially, we might say, man, vulnerability, passivity, viscerally, randomness, and fleetingly, that seems weak. But how much courage does it take to be vulnerable before an uncomfortable emotion or sensation? This, of course, begs the question, what are we to do with that which we have noticed? Every time we exhale, we are already wired to automatically access the tippy top of our spinal cord as well as the basement. These two together are known as our parasympathetic nervous system. They have evolved to help us relax to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less, and even less defining. This sounds great in theory. How do we do it? How do we break the habit of competing against our autonomic nervous system and at last cooperate with it? Here's the answer. It's totally simple. All we got it, every time we feel air enter our nostril, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. Every time we feel air exit our nostril, we can silently and mentally recite the verb rest. It is as simple as that. We can touch the tip of our left thumb to the lowest set of creases of its little finger, and thus keep track of our first set of 16 inhalations. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we can advance our right thumb across the creases and tips of its 4 fingers. Together, let us do that right now. Having run out of places to count on our right hand, we return our attention to our left hand, where we advance our left thumb to its little finger's second set of creases. And this is how we can keep track of all 4 sets, 16 inhalations each. Having completed the first quarter of this morning's practice, let's take a moment to shift gears. It is General Leia Organa early Saturday morning, at least it is in my corner of the globe. Let us meditate like a Jedi after about 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation, so that I can become your personal nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Let us leap over pride's obstructions to omniscience, known in some Tibetan circles as Tokal. We could think of this as our passive contemplation of the wisdom of letting go. Let us practice holocron-like exercises of impermanence, interdependence, and emptiness. The first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Good morning. Welcome aboard. Do not be shy. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I do check for questions intermittently. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge your controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. The Buddha often explained that all that we experience can fit into four categories: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. Let us begin by bringing our experience of the circumstantial into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, the circumstances or lots we saw during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. Let us divide the silent and mental recitation of this 6-syllable synopsis between our inhalation and our exhalation. As we breathe in, let us silently and mentally recite into form, and as we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite all lots melt. And now let us bring our experience of the physical, likewise, into the path of the wisdom of letting go. Please chant with me. As we relax into our exhalation, the bodies or forms we felt during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. Into speech, all forms melt. Let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, the experience of the interpersonal speech or communication we had during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light, that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Into mind, all speech melts. In addition to bringing our experience of the mental into the path of the wisdom of letting go, we're also going to deconstruct the metaphor of emptiness into its simile aspect. As we relax into our exhalation, these minds could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light, that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. Into void, all minds melt. Let us slice through the tyranny of dualities, obscuring emotions of dread and desire. In some Tibetan circles, this is called Trekcho. We could describe it as the union or Mahamudra of awareness and emptiness, or simply the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, mindfulness and meditation. We come now to our second and final practice of channels, winds, and drops, known in some Tibetan circles as Jigme, which could be described simply as bliss or the union of bliss and emptiness. As the tip of our left middle finger supports the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap, let us practice the third enlightenment factor's energy work, also known as bliss and letting go, in such a manner that it could feel like the force itself is giving us a hug. The bronze on the page before us represents us, the meditator, and the red figure represents either our teacher or the amalgam of all our teachers, or simply the teachings themselves. The most efficient way to practice this does not consist of superstition, faith, or the exertion of visualization, but instead simply the recitation of the following 6 syllables. Lama blend with this mind. 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 Let us now slice through the tyranny of dualities, obscuring emotions of dread and desire, known in some circles as treksha, or simply the union or mahamudra of awareness and emptiness. Let us leap over jealousies, obstructions to omniscience. In some Tibetan circles, this is known as Tokal, or simply the Mahamudra, or union of love and emptiness. Let us practice the holocron-like exercises of love and letting go. We'll begin by chanting an explanation of this 10-syllable mantra. Om symbolizes mindfulness, Tade symbolizes spiritual liberation. Tutare symbolizes physical liberation, Ture symbolizes blessing. Soha symbolizes the wish that all beings master such dynamic kindness. Let us begin by bringing our experience of the mental into the path of love, the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all minds of all beings now be as joyfully enlightened or Bodhi as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha, symbolized by a beach of one suitable seed mantra tamoti clay drop. Let us divide the silent and mental recitation of the 6-syllable synopsis between our inhalation and our exhalation. Bodhi joy for all minds. Welcome aboard. Good morning. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I do check for questions intermittently. This brings us to the actual practice of mantra meditation, the union or Mahamudra of love and emptiness. So to do this, we do not contrive emotion, squeezing our heart as if it was, or wringing our heart as if it was a washcloth. All we do is silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable loving wish that we just played with during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we're going to do two things. We're going to physically relax as best we can, while simultaneously chanting the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. Now listen, if this is your first rodeo, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Life is hard. We don't need to make things harder by beating ourselves up. Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa. Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa. Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa. Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Nare Du Re Suwa. Let us now bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of love, the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. May all relationships, communication, all speech of all beings know be as peacefully loving as a real or imagined Buddhist speech or communication symbolized by this horizontal 10-syllable mantra. Peaceful love for all speech. So we're not trying to be Gandalf the Grey. We're not trying to work magic, although that would be terribly cool. We're simply playing with words in harmony with our breathing. The mere act of doing so exercises the neural pathways that support our capacity for empathy. Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa, Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa, Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa, Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa. Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa, Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa, Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa, Om Dani Nani Nuni Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, 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 Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Let us bring our experience of the physical into the path of love, the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health as depicted in Buddhist statuary. Of the blissful body of a Devi or a dormant archetype of enlightenment such as Green Tara. So, let's continue. To paraphrase Albert Einstein, any educated idiot can make things more complicated, more difficult, and more violent, but it takes a lot of courage and a little bit of genius to move in the opposite direction. It's easy to find teachers who will make these simple instructions just as difficult as possible. I know, I used to be one. But remember, in the penultimate passage of the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha insisted that one could master this path in as little as 7 days. That infers that this is an easy path. But all reasoning aside, when we experiment with the teachings, when we experiment with complicated teachings and easy teachings, it's the easy teachings that fuel our peace and our love and our joy and our wisdom. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, 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 Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tariru Nani Nuri Suwa. We come to our fourth and final exercise of the Mahamudra, or union of love and emptiness, together. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know have the safety, great fortune, or boon. As a Buddha is real or imagined, paradise, land or vati. Great fortune for all lots. Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Dhaniru Nani Nuri Suwa. We come now to our final practice, this early morning's final practice of wherein we slice through the tyranny of duality's obscuring emotions of dread and desire, known in some Tibetan circles as Treksho, and in other circles as the Mahamudra, or union of awareness and emptiness. This could also be described as the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's eightfold path that generate the effortless effort, or Wu Wei, of the sixth fold's expedient means. As we feel our chest swell with breath, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, thus effortlessly practicing mindfulness, effortlessly noticing the antics of mind. As we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the verb rest, and as such, efficiently practice meditation. As we rest, and or to put it another way, efficiently rest in mind's empty nature. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of dread, desire, and delusion, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism may our liberation of all others be fueled by the three wish-fulfilling jewels of following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. Having sat for the better part of an hour, we could find it refreshing to conversationally recite the 8-syllable synopsis of those 2 pages, "May we free all through the 3 jewels," while simultaneously practicing Tibetan-inspired squat thrusts. This, of course, is optional. Oof. May we free all through thee. 3 jewels. May we free all through thee. 3 jewels. Now let us practice some body weight rows. Oops, wrong button. Sorry, kids. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's second session of Tantric Chanting and meditate like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.